And hello, everybody, and welcome to this new edition of GM Web3 dedicated to MultiversX. Like every Wednesday at 8 a.m. CET, we are live on X, on Twitch, and on YouTube. And before we start, of course, don't forget to subscribe, to give us a like. Don't forget that you can comment the whole show long, so feel free to share your take, share your opinion, share your disagreement, share everything you want in the chat. Of course, we will try to answer all of your questions and to challenge all of your position. So today I will be joined by Joe Wu in a few minutes to speak about different topics around MultiversX, EGLD, Beniamin Mincu, of course, and yeah, everything that is happening at the moment. But first of all, I would like to thank the partners of this show. And first of all, let's speak about Atom. Atom is the leading lending and borrowing. So let me just find the website because it's up. Sorry, I just started a few minutes ago. Yes, will be easier this way. So yeah, on their platform, you can lend, you can borrow, you can liquid stake, of course, your different tokens, especially EGLD, of course. You can generate very juicy yields. And they also issued the first native stable coin on MultiversX. It's the USH, and you can mint the USH. And if you own their token, the HTM, you can generate a very, very interesting yield on your stake. So thank you very much, Hatem, for continuing to support GM Web3. Knowing that they are exploring new ecosystem like Monad, Megaeth. They announced this on a post a few weeks ago. So can't wait to know more about the development of this. Also, we are happy to be supported by EAPS. EAPS is one of the biggest and the oldest NFT project on MultiversX. Of course, you know them, and they decided to launch a capsule collection on Solana with like 3,333 NFTs on Solana in partnership with Magic Eden. And so they are exploring this new ecosystem to discover a new community, new ecosystem, new blockchain, new technology. And as you can see, the art is completely respecting the initial art with new attributes. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. So thank you very much, EAPS, for the support, and good luck in this new adventure for you. So, hello everyone. Again, as just to be transparent with you, I just woke up like 10 minutes ago, a bit late today, so that's why we're starting a bit late. But we're good. We're good. So let's welcome my today's guest, Joe. Hello, Joe. How are you?
Good day, everyone. How is everyone? How are you?
I am doing very good, but as I said, I woke up like really 10 minutes ago. I don't know why I put my alarm clock before, but I haven't listened to it. And yeah, this day I am going to bed very, very, very late. Like yesterday was at 4.
Oh.
Because I'm watching great animes, and so I don't see a time fly. And you, what's up, brother? How are you?
Just getting over my sickness from about a week ago. So
Mhm.
everything I sound normal now, which is good. Last week I was my voice was not was not sounding like this, so it would have been quite funny to have me, but I wouldn't be able to speak much at all. So I'm glad that I'm getting over that, and yeah, we're not short of drama, are we? So that's difficult topics that we need to talk about today, and that's why only I am here and no one else.
No, what you say is interesting, because actually there is no. I haven't like prepared this show a lot, to be honest with you. What I know is we'll speak about what's happening on MultiversX, and we will try to speak about different hypotheses around it. And no, we're just the two of us, because the other people, most of them have other activities. But you are right, what you say is true. It is possible that people that regularly comes to GM Web3 sometimes are not comfortable with the way that we want to speak about the different topics in a very objective, neutral, and in a very like unfiltered way. So we will not give any names today. It's not the point about it, but it's completely understandable, and I respect that. So that's why everybody's free to come on GM Web3, but everybody's free not to come on GM Web3. So it's completely fine. So yeah, first of all, I would like if maybe some people don't know you live or in replay later, can you maybe introduce yourself for a minute or two and tell us what you've been building, what you've been through on MultiversX for 3 or 4 years now, because we've been there for years now together.
Yeah, no, definitely. So a short history about me for people that don't know my background. Obviously I was much in Web 2 before I discovered Web 3. And yeah, it's the journey started in 2020. Had a lot of interest in the crypto space and discovered EGLD through an exchange, as per a lot of people do, and then have really been involved ever since 2020, 2021. So quite a few years already. Have had up and downs like everyone in the ecosystem, the sad times, the good times, the euphoric times. Have experienced that, probably more the sad times more than the good times, as we've had a prolonged sad time recently in the last couple of years, 3 years. So yeah, going through the emotions like everyone else, trying to shut that off and trying to focus on what is real, what can be done. Everyone can pick up problems, and very few can solve them. So that's hopefully that's part of the topic today, and part of what I want to emphasize on. But I have we've built a couple of products in the past, where we have some in the works, which I can't talk too much about at this stage, just because it's early, and I've learned to be acting in a way of under promise and over delivering, more than over promising and then under delivering and delay. So yeah, definitely is building is a hard thing. It's not for everyone, and we've had many iterations of, hey, let's just build and keep building. I think there is a lot of things that are outside building and development that needs to be focused on in the ecosystem. So hopefully, again, that's some topics that we can talk about today. Interesting that you've got a Crypto.com hat today, because that's where I discovered EGLD, in the Crypto.com app, and I use the card quite a lot. So yeah, it's one of those places where I started my Web3 journey. So yeah, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you. So why did you decide to involve in MultiversX initially, and tell us about Multiconomy a bit, if you agree.
Sure. So EGLD, I discovered it through one of the campaigns that Crypto.com was doing, and then I got involved in it. Funnily enough, because I liked what I saw in terms of the approach that they had in product development, and I think we discussed this on X a couple of times about the Apple-like approach, whereby they have a vertical of of integration of things, of products that can actually just integrate nicely. And I saw that, and I thought to myself, well, that's something that is very interesting. That's within Web3 at least, very little approaches are like that. And whether it makes sense or not, that's another story. But that's what intrigued me into the MultiversX ecosystem, and seeing their beautiful products, beautiful UI, and things that kind of fit my ethos around that. And then also being able to self-custody, obviously being a layer one, and respecting to a certain extent all the Web3 ethos that's out there. So that's what really attracted me to the ecosystem initially, and then have been involved ever since. Multiconomy has obviously been around for a while, and we have tested the market several times on different products. One of the most well-known products, obviously, the on-chain KYC, which is undergoing a major overhaul, under the hood. So that's obviously something that's we can talk about a little bit later on when we've got more details on that. But there's obviously several other things that we're working on in the umbrella of Multiconomy, which will release as products as time goes by.
Okay, sounds very good. I remember when you worked on Multiconomy project, and yeah, definitely it was an interesting use case, like on-chain KYC, as far as I remember. So yeah, it was definitely very interesting. So where is the project at the moment? Are you still building it, or is it maybe in pause? No.
At the moment, it's on pause because we wanted to. There is a lot of things that has potential to integrate with it, and that's where the power comes in for a product like that. So I think there needs to be an ecosystem around that product to ensure that it is actually not usable in that sense, but useful. So it by itself is a cool concept, but a lot of the products that are being out there are very siloed, and we want to ensure that whatever we do moving forward, learning from the lessons that we have learned, with SEC Identify and all the other things, we want to build an integrated approach around whatever we are releasing, so that there is actually things that can be done and value that can be had for users both in Web 2 and Web 3, to for them to actually keep using whatever we built, instead of it just being a product that's standalone that has Web3 elements but really nothing else, which is again a weakness in Web3, because we build just based on the technology, not on the actual value driver.
Thank you very much, Joe. So let's start with the different topics I wanted to talk to you. Maybe we'll start by good things, because there are good things Why are you laughing?
Sentiment doesn't seem that way. Sentiment, every day I hop on and I feel like there's only negative things.
So first thing is about the delay of the Barnard upgrade. When I say it's a good thing, means it will come eventually. We don't care. It's today or the week after. Let's be clear. It's not 1 week or nothing. So as part of Barnard rollout process, a few areas of improvement were identified. New testnet and devnet deployments are underway, and with testing continuing today and tomorrow, because the release of this upgrade was supposed to happen last week, as far as I remember. But actually, Robert made a post saying we found some bugs, and so we needed to fix them. So it's totally fine, and they made this post saying that we will share more updates as soon as they are available. So maybe let's remind everyone what is Barnard. Barnard is one of the three big upgrades that we'll see on MultiversX this year. And we can mention our friend Adrian Tiberiu, who made this post very simple, very accessible, explaining what is Barnard. And he's explaining that it is a protocol level upgrade. It's 99% complete, as we can see, and almost ready to launch. This update will bring on-chain governance, key performance optimizations, and most of all, preparatory steps for the Supernova update, which is the biggest ever on MultiversX. And this is this upgrade, the Supernova one, that we are all expecting, that will enable transactions to be to be done in less than 1 second. They're talking about 600 milliseconds. So yeah, it will be of course faster, and it will enable MultiversX to compete with the other layer ones who are definitely faster, of course. And fast is everything in terms of UX. So in a very technological way, I would like to have your opinion about the evolution of MultiversX. If we go back a few years ago, they arrived like an Ethereum killer, even though they never called themselves as this. But they wanted to do what Ethereum never managed to do, integrate sharding in a blockchain to make it more scalable. Okay, let's be simple. Let's be not too technical. Anyway, so they were supposed to be more scalable. My bad. So there was supposed to be a faster, more scalable, more secure, more decentralized, etc., etc. Okay. A few years ago, they came with a whole infrastructure, but it was just a proof of concept, because actually it was never very, very fast, especially on inter-shard transactions, which is still a bit long, but it's better than before thanks to the Andromeda upgrades. So I would like to have, I don't know, like your opinion about the evolution of the technological aspect in terms of UX. Okay, we'll speak about what people can see, what people can use, and compared to other ecosystem like, I don't know, Solana, Sui, and so on. So how do you see MultiversX in this competition in terms of UX? And you know that UX is everything at the moment.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And what drawn to me right at the start of my journey with MultiversX is that the UX was, at least for me, perceived as next level. So it was a lot more friendly, a lot more usable in various different areas, both in their products and also in their Explorer and it was always one step ahead, I would say, and a lot more, for the lack of better words, Apple-like. And I think they kept that up quite well, through X Portal, through their other products that both worked and didn't work. But the UX has always been quite good. So it's never been might offend some people here, but a Ethereum-like looking UX UI, which has always been quite blunt, quite technical. And so I think the abstraction away from looking very technical, looking very crude, has never really been an issue for MultiversX. And if I may add to that, also in terms of all the upgrades for for all the things that they're building at a protocol level, it's always been their strength. There is no question about that. Even though sometimes there is delays, but hey, it comes with decentralization. I mean, look at what Bitcoin and Ethereum needs to do when they want to upgrade something at a protocol level. I mean, it's insane in terms of the amount of people that need to agree, the coordination, all that stuff. And I think in light of that, MultiversX has handled all the technical upgrades and the building at an infrastructure and protocol level quite well. Yes, there has been delays, but it is also a very difficult thing to have something that's not centralized, and for the community, for the ecosystem to then participate and ensure that the whole network is safe and secure and is also increasing in speed and usability.
And do you think that they took too much time during this bear market to release these strategic upgrades, because maybe they were too focused on the products, like X Word, X Fabric, all the X that they finally decided to give up, and maybe also with I don't know, like X Money, X Portal, because they wanted to do everything and they maybe forgot about the most important, which is the layer one, and we'll speak about it, how to attract builders. But anyway, so do you think this and they should have focused on the layer one and these strategic upgrades, or maybe, and we don't have the answers actually, we can just speculate, or maybe it was just not possible to do faster because I don't know, it takes time, the state of the art in technological area was not ready. You know what, I don't have the answers and the expertise to answer this question, but from my position, from my point of view, I have the feeling that maybe they should have focused on the layer one and let others build the rest. But this is just a feeling, because I don't have, of course, all the cards to judge this. Do you have the same feeling? I mean,
yeah. Look, that's a very good question, and it's a difficult one to answer because because of my position in terms of I was actually attracted to their approach of also building their products on top of their infrastructure. So that was one of the attraction points for me personally. So whilst I don't think there is a right and wrong here, but there is certainly a balance on whether the team should focus more on the products or more on the layer one protocol level, building the infrastructure. And that has always been a bit of a sticking point, despite a decent sized team. They always seem extremely busy. And I am sure that they are working 110% the whole time. So there has never been any doubt, especially that the core team, there has never been any doubt from what I've seen, from what I've heard, seen physically as well, because I've been to the office, and these are very hardworking people. So if anything,
what you say is important, and it is true. And so 100% they are hard workers. They work like hours and hours. So I think this point was never questioned. Let's be clear. Their work. The thing is more about their choice. I talked a few weeks ago with Abdel from Startnet, and we talked about maybe the initial mistake was about to confuse the app layer and the layer itself. And do a foundation have to build the app layer, or they should focus on the layer one, especially because if you build both, you're a competitor with the builders, and we've seen this on MultiversX many times before. And of course, you don't have unlimited resources, so you take delays above the layer one itself, which is basically your main value proposition when you want to raise funds, when you want to attract builders, etc., etc. So that's my point, and I think they 1 year ago, because it was last September, they acknowledged this by wanting to put like X Exchange, X Launchpad, X Portal independent, but it was not formulated like a mistake. It was just a necessity because we wanted them to be financially independent and not to rely on EGLD, of course, the selling of EGLD to finance them. And so they needed to fund their own business model and so on. So that's an interesting point. So feel free in the chat, of course, to let us know what you think about it. Should MultiversX focus on the layer one and maybe stop talking and building the rest, especially when we see like Exportal is becoming multi-chain, so it's not directly bringing any attention on MultiversX. X Money is still struggling with compliance and so on, but they say that they are MiCA ready, so ready to launch stable coins, cards, and so on. But well, I don't know if you want to add anything about that, but I would
I
like.
think
Let's go.
one just quick point. I think one of the things that they did also acknowledge, which I think is also a very good point, which the team did acknowledge. I think as it was a year and a half ago, was that there are sometimes mistakes need to be made in order to learn from them. So that was one of the other things, is that they put out so many different products, X Spotlight and X World and X Fabric, those ones on top of my head that have been put aside for now. I think that they also had a good lesson and journey on those products, even though it hasn't worked out well, but it's really one of those experiences whereby you need to learn by doing, and a lot of people might not agree with this, but any startup, any even medium-sized enterprises, they'll trial things will fail, they continue, they find new ways, they pivot, and I feel like in the last 2 years a lot of this has happened, and this is definitely a strong indicator to the resilience of them adapting to their strategy, whether that was the right choice or not. Again, we can all give our opinion, but what has happened has already happened. So the constructive thing is there were lessons to be learned. They hopefully took away those what needed to be taken away, and will not make those same kind of mistakes again.
I definitely agree with you. So maybe I would like to speak about other topics. There are so many. Good news about our friends from AI Nexus. They displayed an update about their results. So 70,000 MultiversX wallet and 120,000 mobile apps installs. So looks pretty cool. I wanted to shoot out to their consistency in communicating, marketing, and delivering. So yeah, I would like to tell about this. We can mention, of course, Booger. We received Rock on the show last Wednesday. He keeps building this. The mint is still open as far as I know, and he continues to launch some marketing campaigns to continue to make it alive. But it's I think it's pretty hard, because you have a moment of hype, and after, people, you, me, everyone, there are so many things on Twitter, so many things on Web3, so many things, and cryptocurrencies like the whole the total crypto is pumping. So maybe people are not focused on blue guys anymore, and so Rock is not giving up. Far from it, and it keeps pushing. So what maybe you have a say or about boogers? Have you followed the journey? Do you like it? And what do you think about NFTs anyway on MultiversX? Do you think they will come back? So I don't know. Like, tell it. Sorry.
Oh,
Tell it.
that's you again. Yeah, look, I have been following that particular project for quite a long time. I actually remember Rock speaking to me before launching anything. It was just a concept. There wasn't even a name. I think it was during one of the X days. So if anything, it shows the character and the perseverance of what he and the team is trying to achieve, and they have never ever kind of missed a week. I don't even think it's just been relentless for the last I believe it's been 2 years, maybe just a bit more than 2 years. So that kind of dedication is very commendable, especially in a downturn market with very bad sentiment. So I am a supporter. I'm not really. I was never really too much into NFTs. Only a very short period of time. But I did mint just to support, the ecosystem, to support him, because he has just really been putting in the work. And I talk to him from time to time, and yeah, very dedicated. The artwork is very cool. Very unique, and I believe that they're quite cross-chain as well. So that's really awesome, both for Web3 in general, also for MultiversX, because it introduces people to come and mint here. I believe the mint is only on MultiversX, which is pretty cool. So he's doing his parts. If we all can do something like that, then we're all pulling different users, both from Web 2 and from Web 3. You mentioned AI Nexus, and they're great as well, because they are bringing users that would have never reached MultiversX ecosystem without AI Nexus. So those are the kind of I wouldn't say capital inflows, not at this, maybe it's a bit too early, but at least user base and audience that will hopefully then in the later stage bring capital inflows and more rich ecosystem support overall, for builders, for users, for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. We often says that NFTs are crypto with a soul, and yeah, we can say that Boogers has a soul, and so let's hope people that it will be like a real brand at the end, because we can see, for example, that Pudgy Penguin is like doing great things, because it's either a lifestyle, it's an art, it's financial services, it's a real community. So yeah, let's wish for Rock and all the Boogers holders that Boogers will manage to take this his part in this NFT ecosystem, and not just on MultiversX, of course, because I think Boogers can be bigger than MultiversX, and should be, in my opinion.
Yep.
Like every project, actually, and it's not just about MultiversX. It's about a project has sense if it's enabled to go to go interchain, to go cross chain, because it's, in my opinion, the future, the interoperability. And in this regard, we are still waiting Accelera integration to make a MultiversX interoperable with other ecosystem, because without this, it will be difficult to attract liquidity, because liquidity don't want to be bridge, don't want to be a cap. So I hope it will happen by the end of the year. Let's speak about another topic. Yeah, you know Pulpo.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, we heard a few days ago that. Can you see the post? No, you can't completely. Now, yes.
No. Mm.
So we learned a few days ago that he decided to live MultiversX. I'm down to agree with everything up there. So it was an answer to a post I made about some problems on MultiversX. So plus 1 year into EGLD, first entrance at 180 euro. It was my first ever crypto boat. Today my passions came to an end. MultiversX may have the best tech, but if they keep trying to sell it like this will go to zero, unfortunately. Ciao. So it's not just like one random guy saying bad things about MultiversX. It's Pulpo, and Pulpo is he's a great guy, very positive guy. He's been building different things on MultiversX, some tools, also some degen things. He has always been there to build with others and to like bring good vibes. Also, he was always trying to come to in real life events, to bring multiverse power and soul. So yeah, he's a great guy. I hope this decision is not definitive because I can tell you that like just the day after this post, we were talking in some like private telegram around multiverse, and so I hope it's not definitive because we need this kind of guys, but says a lot about people who are fed up with the situation of multiverse. So what is it about? In this post, he is talking about the price, of course. In GM Web3, we mostly never speak about the price of the EGLD. This is not what we do. And because I think price is just first a consequence of what is really happening, or is completely out of control because the market decides what it wants. And so that's why we never speak about the price of the GLD. And I, in my account, like the same, I pretty much never speak about the EGLD price. Or if I speak about the price, it's about the economical security of the proof of stake, or the rentability, the profitability for the staking providers. So I try to speak about, the consequences of a drop of the price, but not the price itself or the ranking in the coin market cap thing anyway. But as investors, as builders, the treasury for most projects is in GLD. We can see that some big project like Coat just closed because of this treasury on the GLD, and so it's not sustainable anymore. We can see these guys that are fed up with the way MultiversX is selling the best tech ever. So what do you, Joe, reply to these guys? What would you say to these guys who either left already or wants to left, or maybe are just they're lost a bit in this? So what do you what would you say to them?
Very, very difficult question there, because everyone has slightly different circumstance. So it's very hard to try and understand, obviously the personalized circumstance that everyone is facing. Perhaps they're facing financial difficulties from having too much e-gold that has depreciated in price. So it's very hard to say. But in a general sense, I think the market always does win in terms of the majority does not, whether it's does not last the bear market, or buys very high and then sells low. Like the market is actually very difficult to play, which is why, again, I also just focus on the big trends. I don't try and say, oh, is it going to increase in price? Is it going to decrease in price? Because it is out of our control. But understanding cycles, I think, has personally helped me in knowing whereabouts roughly the crypto market is at. And even if EGLD does underperform the rest of the market slightly, the trend will still follow. So we can't stand here and pretend that we know whether EGLD is going to outperform or underperform. So that's something that will always be unknown. We can guess, we can see what it's already done, but we can't see the future. But what we can see from historical perspectives, if you know the market enough, is that there are trends that can be followed. And I think this has helped me personally quite a lot in terms of knowing and kind of what to expect and whereabouts we are currently in the cycle. And if Bitcoin is at the price that it's at the moment, then where should the altcoin market be? Where is the Bitcoin dominance at the moment? And all those things, not specific to EGLD. I think those things help in easing my mind in terms of, hey, is the market going to perform well or perform badly within the next 12, 24 months? So that's how I kind of deal with it. And also what gives me kind of a little bit more assurance is that I can see that even though what the team is doing might not please everyone, they have literally never stopped. So it's one of those facts that, yeah, sure, they might be not working on something that's this part of the community wants, but they're always working on something, always improving the ecosystem, always improving at a protocol level, also at a product level, to ensure that as Beniamin said, 1% better tomorrow or next month, and step by step. So that's something that everyone can see. Whereas price, I mean, it just goes up and down and sideways. We have no idea. So it's very hard mentally for a lot of people to focus and just look at the pricing chart. So I would encourage them, if they are very stressed, to either look away and just kind of forget about it, or look at actually being involved in doing something that's not price related in the ecosystem. But again, it's just something very general that I do to cope myself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joe. And I agree with you. And these guys who decides to leave, um, it's always bad news, whether it's
Yes.
for a good or a bad reasons. Because when they leave, they take with them the energy, the content, maybe what they would have built on the ecosystem, what they have built, if they built anything before. And it's always, of course, the conclusion of month of reflection, because you don't decide to drop your bag or to leave an ecosystem. It's never an easy decision for many reasons. Financial, of course, in terms of friendship, because we are all here because we are all friends in the ecosystem. And I've been asked so many times on X, why are you still interested in MultiversX? Why don't you leave? Why don't you just give up? And some people would love me to do this, and I always answer the same. As long I will have friends on MultiversX building and trying to save this ecosystem and to make it better, I will have an interest on of becoming here, giving the mic to people like you, and trying to discuss about problems and trying, yeah, to make people aware of what's happening and what could be better. So yeah, it's never a good a decision that you take like waking up in the morning like, okay, I will live. No, it's always a tough decision to take. We'll take a comment now. I will read it because it's pretty much long. Thank you, Philip, for this. So, question for you guys. I do get the market is what it is, but MVX mainnet is 5 years old now. When you see the roadmap, promises, announcements, team behaviors, how can an investor trust MVX? Then you look at the chart and you cry. So, how they can get back this trust? The main focus is build, 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 which is for me totally wrong. So, it's an interesting point of view. How people see MultiversX from outside because we are inside. So what is interesting is how people see MultiversX and why would they enter this ecosystem or just buy some EGLDs. Maybe you want to start to answer, or I can, no matter.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the interesting things here is that I was always also leaning toward against the build. I mean, building is very important. It's one of those things that needs to happen. But I've always been vocal about both as feedback to the team and also on X uh, about not being too technical and appealing to a different type of audience, because at the moment a lot of the communication from the team etc are about technical updates, about milestones in at a protocol level, about sharding, about all the terminologies that we understand but the outsiders do not. So whilst that needs to remain, one of the things that I see could be done better would be a totally parallel channel, whereby it's a communication channel that talks to a very different audience, whereby they actually, it actually talks about a larger picture. The roadmap, what actually the technical updates translate to, and why the builders should come, why the users should come, why the company should come to build here. So I think that communication channel has been somewhat lacking, because a lot of the communication has been about Andromeda and all the technical updates, which is extremely important for the protocol level. But the translation, even though it's all English, but the translation to what does it mean for the builders, I think that's probably the most clear. But what does it mean also for the normal users? What does it mean for potential enterprises and companies and institutions that why would they be concerned about this? The why there, I think, needs to be communicated and translated from a technical term into a business term, if you like, so that the value transfer can be seen by a different audience. And when you increase the value, the value proposition, then the adoption naturally should increase. And when the adoption increases, then it results in, as you say, that price action being a little bit more positive, because people see the introduction of different entities or different institutions, and also they may need for gas and for operations on chain, plus the bullishness of the adoption would then drive some sentiment as well. So I think it's all links.
When
But
we listen to the
yeah,
core team, we have the feeling that um, time is not for buying a GLD. Time is for building the infrastructure. the tools. Time is for building. And when we are ready, then we'll go to business partnerships, awareness, communication, marketing, and so on. And this is what we understand from the strategy of the core team for years now. So we can understand the impatience of the investors, the holders, the builders, the developers who lacks of clients on MultiversX and so on, because they've been waiting for this potential alt seasons for years now, and they accepted the drop of the price for years now, thinking it was just about building the infrastructure to be ready to welcome users, builders, funds, partnerships, and so on. But the infrastructure is still not ready because Supernova is, as far as I know, the like king of upgrades that will allow, that will enable everything, but it will be live by the end of the year, so maybe early 2026, because we know there are always delays and it's part of the game. So in the meantime, it's hard to wait. So we can understand some people who are impatient. Please, Philippe, can you make shorter comments, please? Because we cannot read everything live. So please make it shorter and we will try to answer and to relay it. Thank you very much, Philippe. So this is the first thing. The second thing, and it is interesting, let's take this comment from Javier, CEO of Jakes, about the US journey. No, 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 no problem, Philip. It's not, but just easier for us to take shorter comments. So just make it shorter a little bit. Thank you very much. So just to move on to the US journey, I made a post a few days ago about how US journey was supposed to be a good thing. Uh, Funds, liquidity, ecosystem, regulatory, political situation. Everything is pretty much in the good way in the United States of America. And what 1 year after, because they decided to deposit the brand last July, but actually they went to the USA 6 or 7 months ago. Let's be fair. What we could have expected so far today, and I haven't found anything, any signals, any presence in any media, any newcomers in the ecosystem from the USA. I haven't seen anything except some soon, except some weird building, except some internal discussion, but nothing from the USA. So, uh, what do you think about this US journey? Do you think we need to be patient? And it's part of the game. It takes time. The market is very difficult. There's so many competitors, and the brothers, the Mincu's brothers, are doing their possible to attract strategic investors. So, are you bullish about that? But we should keep waiting and trust them, or are you a bit impatient because 7 months after they left, we can't see like even one good signal. So, what do you think about this?
I think the US markets, my own expectation from the start is that the US market is an important market, but it's also a hard market to move fast in. And so I think I already adjusted my expectation from last year, knowing that from the announcement of, hey, we are going to the US, to actually something concrete will probably take, we're talking about maybe years. So that was my own expectation without speaking out loud at that time. So I, you know, I also sympathize because it isn't an easy thing. And when you announce something like that, and then you have to then follow it up with multiple different announcements, which is why it's very difficult to kind of draw that balance between hyping up something versus kind of under promising and over delivering and surprising people. And that is something that I'm sure that the team has to play with all the time, because people want, hey, what are you up to? How are you doing? How is the US? What is the percentage of progression on, the cap raise, the this, the that? So there's a lot of expectation there. As the ecosystem grows, that will only intensify. Now, one of the things which I am, frankly speaking, a little bit disappointed about, I think, is really not the US, but uh, the the I guess the mannerism of how they kind of discounted the APEC uh, for the US. So they kind of left Adam to do that part for a little while, and then after he left, there has been really no more news about Korea, about Asia, about the APEC region, and I think that's quite disappointing, because there was a lot of I wouldn't say hype, but at least promises on the table on the X days and all the other things, being in Asia, and also Asia being a focus market. Now, I understand the rationale of enabling pivots, but I think in this context, it's not really a pivoting equation, but more so, hey, the two markets are equally as important, and even if we move slower on the APEC side, on the Asia side, it still needs to keep moving. So that's one of the things that I was, frankly speaking, a little bit disappointed about, because I do care also a lot for the Asia market. I think it's quite an untapped market for MultiversX for Web3. So it's yeah. So that I think that was one of the points that I wanted to make, is that yeah, US, my expectation was long, and if it came short, then great. But I kind of lowered my expectations, just because I know that things with governments, things with big liquidity takes time. It always does. And if it doesn't, then that's a bonus. But that should be the expectation, right? At least in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I think when they decided to go to the United States of America, they had some plans and contacts there. People who were telling them, "Come, you will see, it will be great. I will introduce you to this, and so on." So, but unfortunately, when you arrive there, you can see that maybe it was all about the Trump election. Everybody was bullish, and they were, you know what I
Mm.
mean. So they decide to go there and to in like 100% invest in the United States. And actually, it was harder than expected, and especially as
Mm.
like yeah, certainly it's not as easy as it was supposed to be, but it's part of the game when you are used to raise funds, when you are used to evolve in a very competitive ecosystem, and you know that you are just a small actor, you don't have big friends, you don't have big network, and so on. So yeah, it's hard. um, and yeah, what is saying here is interesting. Eggs in one basket regarding USA is, in my opinion, a mistake. There are spent force bricks. Yeah, this is interesting. They decided to go to the USA, which is of course the El Dorado for crypto at the moment. But there are so many actors. So how to emerge? How to take profit? How to take opportunities there when there are like hundreds of bigger actors than you. So maybe they should have focus on maybe areas in the world and maybe or less active than the USA. I don't know. It's a good reflection. I thought it was interesting for MultiversX to go to emerging countries because they have X money. So for payment in financial inclusion, it's very cool. You have also East of Europe where they were alone for all these years. So all these areas, unfortunately, they decided to go to the USA. I think it's also about ego. Let's be clear. I think everybody wants to live their USA journey. Everybody wants to live their American dream. You know what I mean? So maybe it's also about ego. I want to be an American blockchain because sounds good. But let's speak about reality. Let's speak about execution. And in this regard, we're still waiting any good signal, just one. But yeah, for the moment, I don't know, maybe I missed it, but for the moment I can't see any good signal. So I read someone saying the brothers are too quiet lately, but Benny dropped mid-August there will be white smoke. I don't know if you read this, but yeah, we'll be there to check this Pope moment. Um, I would like to talk about this also, which is another post I read on X. It's from Andrew, and Andrew, same. He's not a toxic guy. He's not a bad guy. He's not like a further or anyone. He's just a guy who is in the ecosystem for years now, who gave this opinion. And what is interesting is this part. The saddest, and I'm completely sincere, is the fact that I can't recommend anyone to invest in it. So he's talking about EGLD, of course, because it was a very bad investment for me, and because transparency is zero. And after he, yeah, says everything about X money, Axelar, and all the mistakes, we will not go back to this. But what is interesting in this post is the social layer. So how one person can bring two persons that will bring four persons and so on. This is how an ecosystem grows. And in this regard, it's, yeah, indeed very difficult for us, even when we believe in the tech, in the team, in the strategy, to recommend this investment and this ecosystem to our friends. Comparing to what happened in 2020 and 2021, when it was so easy for us to recommend the Mayar wallet to our friends. I did it like that hundreds of times to recommend our friends to buy GLD because we thought it would be a good investment in the next 4 or 5 years. So now this reality has changed a bit because we need a positive signal to talk about MultiversX to our friends in a, of course, uncertain way, because it's always uncertain, but comfortable way. So would you recommend MultiversX today to your friends, builders, investors, and maybe other entrepreneurs? Would you recommend MultiversX? Or if not, what would you need to to be able to do it?
Yeah, so I think I've mentioned this in a couple of my posts historically, not recently, when I was onboarding some of the friends, and this continues to be to hold true. I think what I said there was that um, it's I use MultiversX and X Portal as a gateway for recommending to family and friends to understand the ethos and how Web3 works. I think it is a very good starting step. It's the wallet is great, the UI is great. It's easy to understand. You don't even need to touch the seed phrase if you don't need to, if you don't want to. So it's one of those things where I found useful is that they can actually start for a very low barrier, and to actually learn and understand the technology of blockchain. MultiversX being one of the blockchains, but at least the wallet supports multiple. So it's a very good gateway X portal for them to have exposure into our preferential, blockchain being EGLD, but also other blockchains. Now, one of the other things that I mentioned is that whether it be X portal or any other products that are on MultiversX, is that it does lack what I call the normies hook, which is basically my definition for, well, apart from learning and educating yourself and also the price appreciation of cryptocurrencies, why else would you be here? Right? What else can you do if you're not interested in DeFi, if you're not interested in anything else in terms of technology, what else can you do with Exportal? And I think this is a very, very interesting question. It's not directed at Exportal, but just a broader Web3 ecosystem. What can you do that actually delivers real value for retail users, apart from the potential of price appreciation of cryptocurrencies and digital assets? So one of the things would be that I mentioned in my post would be, well, because blockchains are so good for transferring value across borders, right? So the on-off ramp would be an extremely important part in ensuring that we have that hook of, hey, I might tell my Europe friend, hey, sign up to Exportal, and then I can send you some stable coins, and you can just off ramp, and we don't have to go through Revolut, we don't have to go through Wise, we can just do it through the blockchain and on off ramp of Exportal. So that would be an example of something that would really bring value because the fees, hypothetically speaking, would be lower, right? Depending on what you're trying to do with the stable coins and currencies, it would be lower. It would be almost instantaneous. You could track it through the blockchain. So the value transfer of currencies and money is there as a benefit. But of course, we are lacking a few steps, right? The on-off ramp is not quite there. The inconvenience will not work currently. And the other one that I pointed out, which I think I'm much more of a broken record by now, is that the other one is the card, the cashback from the card. And funnily enough, I go back to crypto.com. They do an awesome card. They've been doing that card for like 5 years. Yes, it has evolved, but it has caught so many people, right? Including me. I wasn't there for the Web3. I wasn't there for the blockchain. I wasn't there for the cryptocurrencies. I was there for the cashback, right? If I was very honest with you, and right at the start, I was there for the cashback and cashback only. It is when I started getting CROs, the the cashback token, that I started looking into what it is and why it appreciates, why it depreciates, and all the market dynamics around that. So cards would be making cards competitive would be something else that would be personally would be on my list of a very highly ranked, hey, attract the travelers, attract the point junkies, attracts the loyalty customers that want cashback from their everyday expenses. Sure, it'll come at a cost to whatever entity is forking out that cashback, but at the end of the day, it's one form of marketing, and it's a hook. That's the very important thing. It's a hook for people to download Exportal. It's a hook for people to understand what EGLD is, because that's the cashback. So what is EGLD? Yes, they could sell it straight away, but at least they'll have heard of it. They'll have seen the logo. They'll have the wallet itself, and then if they see the EGLD cashback increase, they'll go, hey, what is this market dynamic? Can I make more money off my cashback by staking my EGLD instead of selling it, for example, right? So you have that hook already there. So there is no right or wrong answer here again, and it's something to be explored. But there needs to be multiple hooks for people to actually come in and use the
so the adoption can come from financial services, payment services on Exportal. But we haven't talked about how to attract investors, how to attract builders, because it's not just about the X product. It's also about the builders who wants to join an ecosystem, who want to build their product that will bring users awareness, adoption, and so on. But yeah, you're right. The cashback thing was a good thing, but I think it's in my opinion, it's outdated. in my opinion. There are too many actors at the moment, and I think now you have like new banks, very crypto friendly, like D-Block and so on. And I know them personally. They're doing like a great job. And in my opinion, 2 years ago, it was a great value proposition to be either a layer one and like a neobank or electronic money issuer. It was great. But now I don't think this is what the market wants. And you also know that cashback is just selling pressure. So I would be maybe more less bullish about all about cashback and so on. But where you are right is when they released the cashback thing, the card thing, the first time it was at X Day 2023, and they announced the premium cards that never came because actually it's too expensive. Okay, well, they didn't know it at the moment anyway, but at the moment the cashback was very low compared to the others, and so
Yes.
that's why people like us, we ordered the card, those who was able to, because it was not available in every country, but anyway, but nobody from outside ordered the card. Okay, it was just it was more like merch than anything. So it was for Aaron
Yes.
fans, MultiversX fan, because the cashback was not interesting enough. So if you take the crypto.com example, they started with a very, very high cashback to attract as many people as possible.
Correct.
And 2 or 3 years after, they decided to reduce the cashback because it was not sustainable. But what they won from this marketing campaign was millions of users. Of course, some left, but some stayed. And that's,
Yes.
in my opinion, a good strategy. But for this, you need to have funds. And crypto.com raised hundreds of millions. MultiversX did not. Okay, let's move to another topic. What is yeah, have you heard about what Autoscale announced a few days ago? This we just turned down a grant from MVX because the legal terms was literally unsignable. We'll publish a full article about that later today. I think they did not, by the way. So what is interesting is we have a first testimony. To be honest, I have many others, but I can disclose them, of course, about the growth game, the grant program for MultiversX. So many applied, many did not have any answers. Many actually the terms was very, very, very hard to accept. I cannot disclose what the terms are. It's not to me to do it. But what I can tell you is this $1.5 million grant to come and build on MultiversX sounds like it's bullshit because nobody can apply. We haven't heard any a project claiming that they were part of this grant program and so on. So do you have any information about maybe Multiconomy or maybe other builders that wanted to grab part of this $1.5 million grant? And if not, do you know why MultiversX is doing this? Because what we like the most is builders. So we cannot read such comment from true builders. Autoscale is a real product. Okay, it's not some NFT or meme coin degen thing. Okay, it's a real thing. They got a grant from Atom Protocol, so as we can see, it's a legit project. And even them, they decided to return the grant because the terms was unsignable. And I can tell you, because I know the terms, I cannot tell you. It's not to me to do it. But yes, the terms was 100% insignable. And I would have advised any project not to send this. This is, I have advised many projects in my lives, and especially in grant processes, okay, in MultiversX, but of course outside. And I have never seen such terms that MultiversX is asking to the project. So anyway, so do you have any information, and what do you think they're doing this. They don't have the 1.5 million. They don't want to give this 1.5 million. Is it just marketing and actually it's deceptive? So what do you think about this? In my opinion, it's a real problem.
I think from what I've heard, because again, I did not actively participate, and I have read what you just put up on the screen there about auto scale, and I read in depth about about some back and forth. Um, what uh, what I would say is that there is always I always try to remember that there's always two sides to the story, right? So we often hear one side and we don't hear the other side, and so it is sometimes unfair to comment too much specifically about one side of the story. So given that, it is a lot of I guess at the end of the day, MultiversX makes the rules based on the grant because they're giving the grant. So it is really up to the choice of the participants whether they want to take it based on the terms, right? And I don't know the when the terms were disclosed, whether it was in advance or whether it was right at the end, whether it was made made transparent at the start, or whether it was actually, hey, you only found out right at the end, before signing, right after signing, whatever it is. So that side of things I don't have context to. However, it's very hard to speculate what MultiversX is intentionally trying to do there. But what I will say is that MultiversX has always had quite a high bar and expectation, at least in my perspective, on multiple things. So not just on grants, but on multiple things. They are I would almost cross them as categorize them as some sort of perfectionists, and that's both good and bad, right? So there's pros and cons to both. But I think in this instance, if I was to have my take on it, they were probably also trying to be and trying to achieve a perfect outcome, whether it was for them or for the other party as well, without knowing the terms. That would be the the general take that I would add. And again, not right or wrong, but just from what I've observed in the 4 to 5 years that I've been here, it is their way of doing things, and it will not fit everyone. And I think that's perfectly fine. It's obviously not a happy ending for a lot of the applicants, but at the end, it is what it is, and we continue, right? And it's always not good to lose builders. So from what I've heard also, and various conversations that I've had with MultiversX, they also try very hard from their end to keep the builders however they can, and to have productive discussions, right? And perhaps that's not how it's perceived. But again, two sides of the story. When they're trying hard, it might not look like it, but
Yeah,
it's just the outside. It's just a shell.
and thank you very much for your balanced opinion, and that's why I really appreciate you're here, and thank you again for taking the time to come. But let's be clear: the growth game, the $1.5 million grant program, has been launched last December, so it's been 7 months. So I can, of course, um, um, think it's a good thing to be picky, to have conditions, because you don't want to give money for anything. It's totally normal. And we've seen so many ecosystems wasting thousands, millions of dollars in grants in any types for just nothing. So I agree with you 100%. I pretty much know what is the strategy at Solana, for example. They are not giving grant like dozens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars for anything. No, 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 no. They are just giving a few thousands of dollars for specific tasks, for specific uh, you know goals, and the project needs, okay, I need 1,000 to do this specific thing, and if you want more, you need to apply again. So it's iterating, it's interesting, and so you don't
Mhm.
waste your money
Mhm.
for nothing. So I agree, but the terms I'm talking about is not about that. And second, in 7 months, we haven't heard one project that had any, even $100. So that's, you know what I mean. I'm not telling we need to spend this 1.5 million to anyone, of course, but hey, not even one. And you know what happened? You just need one to say I got a grant to attract others. But when the only one who's talking about the grant program says I could not sign, it was intolerable. It was not possible to sign such conditions. Well, you will have nobody that will apply. And so it will be a bad circle. You know what I mean? So I agree with you,
Mhm.
but in this case, I think there is a lack of of willing to give just part of this money, and it's too bad.
Mhm.
The last topic I wanted to talk to you, and of course, Joe, if you have anything, any topic, any angle that you would like to discuss, feel free. Same on the chat. You know, I have a list of topics I want to talk about, but you are completely free to suggest one or to bring yours with you, and we'll be happy to, yeah, to discuss about this. Um, what I wanted to talk about is about, I don't know if you read it. It's the feedback, the first feedback to the feedback of the community that MultiversX released. I made a post about it because this document, uh, there is no public information, but the document was public. It was released on a Telegram, and it was completely okay to spread it. And
Mhm.
in this document, um, Beniamin is answering two or three feedbacks he received on the form, you know, the form that they created to listen to the
Yep.
community and so
Mhm.
on. And in this
Yep.
document, I need to find it back. He said something that is concerning, in my opinion, is that their strategy with X Money, X Portal, and so on is to yes, I found the post now. Let me share it because it was days ago and I don't remember 100%. But the first round of feedback to MultiversX has just been published. I put the link, of course, just below for people
Mhm.
who wanted to read it completely. I will share it in the comment, of course. And in this document, okay, we've made mistake. Okay, no one else could have done this. There is a difficult context. We wish we would have done bit better. So okay, it's fine. About the IBANs and premium cards, the model was not sustainable. As I said before in the show, when they announced it at X Day 2023, it was sustainable, but actually it was not. What else? Yes, about the exportal token. So they announced it. Actually, it's not sure. Maybe it will be one day soon. We don't know. So it's not very clear, and we don't have more information. And this is what is interesting. If X Money and X Portal succeed, MultiversX wins because we'll be able to sell our equity to buy EGLD. And after they say if X Portal and X Money fails, we all lose. So this is interesting in my opinion. So the strategy of MultiversX Labs, you know, the company that owns X Portal and X Money, is to allow these companies to raise funds, to grow in terms of equity and so on. And the strategy is to sell part of this equity to buy EGLD. And so the future of X Money and Exportal is completely linked to MultiversX and so the layer one. So in my opinion, this is a dangerous thing. First, to count on this selling to make EGLD pump, and it's not a good strategy in terms of entrepreneurship because this is different business unit. So imagine Apple would say, okay, if iPhones works well, we'll sell the equities to, I don't know, like buy equities for another business unit like Mac or anyone. So it's pretty much weird as a strategy, and the community reacted about that. So what do you think about this? Do you think it's a good thing for them to announce this? And don't you think the future of the layer one, the one that we invested in, the EGLD centered layer, is that dependent on X Money, which is about payment and so on, and Exportal, which is a wallet, a multi-chain wallet with his own token to come. So how did you react when you see this? I would like to have your take on this.
I think that that statement I did see it somewhere before, and I thought it was a little bit, for the lack of better words, it was a little bit odd. I think it was a little bit odd, out of place, I would say, and almost too blunt, if I would say. And two things that I can take out of this. One of the points that I wanted to make was that the community has actually been asking nonstop, right? In the last, I don't know, half a year to a year to a year and a half, ever since the separation of X Money and Exportal, the community has been asking, well, how will X Money and Exportal's success affect EGLD, affect MultiversX and EGLD, right? So that has been a big question from the community.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Really sorry for that, but I am on the document now, and I can see that they added this sentence. It was not in the first shot. I can tell you. For now, nothing is said, and there is simply a hypothetical discussion. The only thing clear is we want to growth. Let's cross 1 billion valuation, and then we'll evaluate the best option forward. So they heard the concerns from the community, and so they added this sentence. I ask you to believe me, this sentence was not in the initial post. Otherwise, I would have mentioned it in my post because I'm trying to be as honest as possible. Sorry for interrupting, but it is important to mention this added sentence.
Yep. So yeah, as I said, the community has been asking nonstop, how is it linked to EGLD, and I think that answer to a certain extent was directed at whether it was hypothetical or not, was at shedding some light on how it could be linked. The success of the two separate companies could be linked back to MultiversX and EGLD. Now, one of the other points to mention, and again, the community has been mentioning this nonstop, is that at the start, pretty much MultiversX Foundation and EGLD basically was tied very closely to X Money and Exportal. They from my understanding, the bootstrapping and everything, the nurturing of the companies at the start, the products at the start, before they were separate companies, were done within MultiversX. So there was obviously some cost associated with that. So there is already some link there with EGLD, even though they are now separate and completely independent with their own tokens and tokens to be. I think there will always be associations there. Whether in what way it'll be associated in the future and how the EGLD price and the EGLD ecosystem will benefit from the success of X Money. That's obviously something that they are thinking very hard about, with the added sentence as well there. And I think that answer that you were mentioning there that they gave is more of a on the spot answer, which is still in hypothetical discussion. So that's the only takeaway that I can
I
gather
agree.
from
I
the
agree with you.
information.
We've built the website with the first.
The good thing is they're hearing everyone, right? They're listening. Whether they're doing enough, again, another story, but they're listening and they're refining and ensuring that they're displaying that you are being heard and we are answering.
We received a message from Benister. Let's share what he just did. Let me just check, and we'll share it. Just give me a second so I can find you. I don't know where, but let me find it. No, I can't find it. Where did you comment? Okay, FAQ MVX community. It was already there. I've built the website with the first version of the post and not updated yet with the new question. I can't click on the link, so let's go there and see what you mean, because sorry, I don't get it.
I think he means that the hypothetical discussion sentence was already there in the first version. At least that's what he's claiming.
I am 99% sure it was not. But you know what? I don't want to make an issue with this. If it was there before and I missed it, fine. Sorry about that. But you know what? I doubt about it. I will check this community. Let's check the link. What is he talking about? Okay, so it's this website. Okay, this is here for now. Okay, this is not the document I shared. This is not the posted in Notion, because I don't like the doc they provided. It's not readable. Okay, so now I got it. So it's a doc. So is it a website that you built yourself, Benny Store? Yes, certainly you did it. And so you took the document that you made this website to make it more readable, as far as I understand. Yeah.
And I think he took the first version, is what he's trying to say, not the second version. It hasn't been updated with the second version yet.
Okay, so maybe I had the Notion before you have it, because I have it like a few seconds after it was posted on the private Telegram. So maybe you had the version with this sentence added. But you know what? Let's not make an issue about that. What is important, it's one of the strategy MultiversX has is to sell part of the equity from these companies to buy EGLD, and they added after not just EGLD, but or other compelling ways to expand the ecosystem. But it's just a hypothesis and so on. So you know what? Why not? Okay, what we would like now is a clear vision, but I already understand people who tells me, it's a startup, we cannot have a clear vision, we need to try things and so on. So okay, it's okay. I hope it will be enough. So let's talk about the last topic of the day. It's a hard topic, but I think it's not a taboo topic. So what do you think about the possibility of Beniamin Mincu to step aside, to resign, or to say, okay, it's been 5 years I've been there. I made so many mistakes, so many fails. My communication is not very good. I don't have a very good reputation in the community, but also outside and so on. So maybe I should step aside, take a moment, maybe give the baby to someone else that is more, I don't know, like more experienced in this situation of a company, and maybe I'll come back after, but for the moment I want to take some time for me, for my family, and so on. So do you think it would be a good thing for a MultiversX, or do you think, like many think, that MultiversX equal Beniamin Mincu, and if Beniamin resigns, it's just a sign of the end of MultiversX, etc. So, have you ever thought about this hypothesis? And what do you think about this?
I think it's interesting, but also what Benny has mentioned previously, which I'm sure you know about, is that that there would be another leader or CEO for the foundation, right? A chairman or whatever it was being called, and then he would step down from there and still be continuing on as the MultiversX Labs
Yes, you're right.
CEO,
So
right?
it was just to put some context, but what you say is completely true. It was last September, so almost 1 year ago, and he announced that he will hire a new president, a new CEO for the foundation, maybe more American USA oriented, because it was the strategy at the moment. And he would stay as a CEO for the MVX lab, which is the like company, the real company who drives deals and strategy and so on. And the foundation is more about the growth of the ecosystem and so on. But yeah, I let you continue.
Yeah. So I think this would be very interesting to see the reaction of the community, because I think it will be very divided. One of the things that we can conclude, I guess I can conclude myself, is that from seeing what Benny has done and also having physical conversations with him in person, and also over different communication channels, I can absolutely believe that he wants the best for MultiversX, the ecosystem, right? And I think we can all agree at least on that. Whether what he's done is perceived as being right or wrong, putting all that aside, I think that the common goal has always remained the same. And it is also my belief that if one day he does see a different he sees a opportunity that comes up that would better serve the ecosystem, I would think that he would take it, because he wants the ecosystem to grow, and that might or might not mean that he steps aside, right? It might be something else. So I think it's quite important to grasp that context in knowing that yes, the community might be divided on in a kind of like a commentary, that we're trying to speculate at the moment and discuss. And I think it's healthy that there is division, but a division still needs to understand that the common goal of the whole ecosystem still needs to be the same. So whatever is best for the ecosystem, for it to grow as a collective, that should be the goal. And I think the team, including Benny, already knows this, and perhaps they are a little bit attached, and that's totally fine, because they built it, and they've done something that's quite frankly remarkable. And so we should also take a moment to appreciate what has been achieved, even though Web3 is known to be a place where you're always forward looking, right? You're forward looking about announcements about, hey, why might this crypto token pump? Why might this pump at this time? What are the big announcements? What are the big partnerships? It's always forward looking. And a lot of the time we forget to look back and reflect on what has already been achieved. And, that is a good, also gives a good perspective on what they have actually achieved with very minimal funding in a challenging situation. So I just wanted to give, that perspective without speculating too much about, what might or might not happen. Right. So things for people to remember.
Anyway, I think it would not be a good decision until they raise funds, because I think investors want some stability to invest in an ecosystem. So even if it would be a good thing for the ecosystem about this, but not now. Okay, the ecosystem needs to raise funds because unfortunately, without fund, we cannot do much things in here. But after they grant, they raise funds, maybe it would be something good to bring some fresh air for the ecosystem. Do you guys know a good CEO for MVX? No, I don't. But I think it's not the problem because we know what is a bad CEO for MVX. So okay, it's over. It's all the topics I wanted to talk about. I wanted to be maybe more balanced and bring more good news about MultiversX, but to be honest, this week I haven't seen much great things and good things. I hope next week it will be different, but at the moment the ecosystem is encountering some difficulties with the whole crypto that is pumping. And so, of course, people are asking, am I staying? Am I living for another ecosystem to get more profit, to get more money, maybe to build on another ecosystem? So this is something that we can feel in the ecosystem. And we are here on GM Web3 to try to bring them some answers. It's not the good answers. It's not what you should do, guys, but maybe something that will help you take the good decisions. This is what we're trying to do. Thank you very much, Joe, for coming this morning. I don't know, what time is it at your place now?
It's nearly 8 o'clock p.m. at night.
Okay, so it's not too late. Great.
Not too bad. Not too
Have
bad.
a good evening. Take care of yourself. Thank you very much for taking the time to come and to challenge the different topics this morning. And yeah, wish you all the best and see you around on GM Web3 and on X, of course.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me as always. It's great to be on here.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, Joe.
See you guys.
Bye-bye. Guys, this show is over. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you learned things, and I hope it will awake you and maybe try to challenge what you thought before. This is what we're trying to do here. Wish you a very good day. Take care of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, to comment, to like, and to give us some strength for us to continue to produce this show every Wednesday in the morning with everyone who wants to talk on GM Web3, unfiltered and uncompromised. Thank you very much and see you around. Bye-bye.